What is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Podium Pushers podcast with Justin and Brandon. Once again, it is race week. We've got a doubleheader to end out the first half of the season. It is time to predict the Hungarian Grand Prix. I am locked and loaded with some incredible predictions. Brandon, how you feeling?
Feeling great. Hungarian Grand Prix was a great race in 2024. So I expect nothing less in 2025.
It's an underrated track in my mind. It usually delivers some action. People think of it as Monaco without the barriers, but it's delivered some bangers in recent history. You had Max Verstappen's first pole, Esteban Ocon's first win, Oscar Piastri's first win, Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton drama last year. There's been some crazy stuff at Hungary in the past. We've got some crazy predictions, so it's going to be an incredible week. We are currently tied 31-31, the last race before the summer break. We have got an incredible championship fight on our hands. Let's kick it off with our driver of the weekend. My driver of the weekend, I have gone with Isaac Hadjar. I think after potentially his worst weekend of the season, after having a car issue in Spa, he's going to bounce back and have a great weekend in Hungary. I don't really have a reason to say this, but he's been the best rookie this year. I'm confident that he can bounce back. Anytime his car was working normally last week, he was still the lead V-Carb driver. So I believe in Isaac Hadjar. He is my driver of the weekend.
A great pick. Isaac has been very consistent all season long. Someone else who's been very consistent all season long is Max Verstappen, who is my driver of the weekend. Max, Hungary's a track that really qualifying matters a little bit more. And we all know that Max Verstappen is an excellent qualifier. So anytime qualifying has a little bit more emphasis on it, Max Verstappen's a good pick to have a great weekend. So that's what I'm going with.
Max Verstappen is always a great pick to have a good weekend. This year, he's just been pulling out some great performances when you least expect it. We've both kept it in the Red Bull family for our driver of the weekend. Backmarker of the weekend, I have gone with Charles Leclerc. This is nothing against Charles Leclerc personally, and I'm not even really expecting him to be the reason that he's the backmarker of the weekend. I can just see a Hungary situation where somehow Charles Leclerc is on the hard tires where everyone else is on the soft. Ferrari has messed up his pit strategy. He's down in P7 for who knows what reason. I just can sense a Ferrari disaster class right around the corner. They finally got strategy right in Spa. There's no chance they do that right 2 weeks in a row. So I think it really, if anything, I should maybe make this a Ferrari prediction, but I think Charles Leclerc is going to be the one who gets a little messed up this weekend. He's my back marker.
I can definitely see him getting stuck behind Esteban Ocon in P12 for like 28 laps after he pitted at the wrong time. Definitely. But my back marker of the weekend, I'm going with Liam Lawson, also keeping it in the Red Bull family for all of my predictions so far. Don't have a great reason for this one either. Liam had a pretty good weekend in Spa, but for whatever reason, I don't think he's going to do that well in Hungary. He didn't race here last year. Daniel was still in the car, so it's been a while since Liam has had some experience in Hungary, so that could definitely contribute, but we'll see what happens.
I don't know if he has any experience at Hungary because you've got to remember, even though this is his third year driving in Formula One, he still hasn't raced a full calendar. So he's still racing some tracks for the first time, which is crazy to think about. He's technically a rookie since he's been racing in the sport since 2023. Pole predictions, I have gone with Lando Norris. I think Lando Norris will take pole for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Yes, Oscar Piastri won this race last year, but Lando Norris was cranking out some incredible laps during that Grand Prix before Will Joseph guilt-tripped him into giving that race back to Oscar Piastri. You know, we talked about it when we recapped the Belgian Grand Prix. Even though Lando Norris made some mistakes, it didn't feel like a weekend where he beats himself up and loses a bunch of momentum. I still think he's in a good headspace. I think he wants to go into the summer break with some momentum in the championship fight. I'm putting Lando on pole this weekend.
A great pick. I think all weekend long for pole, it's just going to be a dogfight between Oscar and Lando. I'm going with Oscar. I truly just want to believe in him. He has had some great performances, great weekend in Spa, and I don't know. I'm just putting all my predictions behind Oscar this weekend. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, not to spoil some future predictions that you make. I have put more of my eggs in the Lando Norris basket so far, obviously, but I wouldn't be that angry about an Oscar Piastri redemption weekend here. Like, I feel like it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he has a solid weekend in Hungary, kind of washes some of the sour taste from last year out of his mouth. So I wouldn't be that opposed to that. Our podium predictions in third place, I have gone with Lewis Hamilton. I think Lewis Hamilton gets his first Ferrari podium here at Hungary. Part of this is I think if Lewis gets a podium and Charles doesn't, immediately I can get my backmarker point. But I also think that with these Ferrari upgrades, Lewis is feeling more at ease in the car. Yes, he was knocked out in qualifying in Q1 both times last weekend, but we saw a great performance from him in the race. I think he is getting there. I think he's finally getting up to speed with that car. I'm sure he wants to end off the first half of the year on a high. So I think Lewis Hamilton gets his first podium with Ferrari this weekend and finishes in P3.
That would be absolutely insane. Kind of going along with my driver of the weekend prediction, I think Max Verstappen is going to get P3. Again, with a little bit more emphasis on qualifying, Hungary kind of being a track that's slightly trickier to overtake at. I think those are the tracks that Max thrives at right now because the race pace of that Red Bull is not quite where it needs to be to fight up at the front. And so with that extra help from the Hungaro ring, I think Max will be able to hang on in P3.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. The last two weekends where we've seen some success for Max, it's been when they whack off all the downforce on that Red Bull and just send him out there. You can't really do that in Hungary, so it'll be interesting to see where Max fits in this weekend. P2, I have gone with Oscar Piastri. Can't keep a McLaren driver out of the top two on the podium these days. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's still the best car in the grid by far right now. I think we saw in Spa, there was really no chance that anyone was going to touch the McLaren on race day. I've gone with Oscar Piastri in second place.
P2, I'm going with Lando Norris. I just, again, really want to believe in Oscar. I don't know why I have an affinity for Australian Formula One drivers, probably because I love Daniel Ricciardo so much. But yeah, I just really want to see Oscar be successful, and I think Lando's going to get P2.
I never got the Oscar Piastri affinity. Maybe it's because he replaced Daniel Ricciardo at that team, so it just didn't transfer for me. But there is a little bit of that Australian, but I can't get myself to do it. I want to, but I can't. I'm still in search of a new favorite driver, so please let me know in the comments who you think it should be. P1 for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I have gone with Lando Norris. Pole to win for Lando Norris. He's on a pole to win streak that was broken this past weekend in Belgium. I think he makes it right this time out in Hungary. Takes pole, takes the win this weekend. I'm confident in him that he can do it. He's not going to have his race engineer telling him that he needs to give up this P1. He's got the car, he's got the race pace. I think he'll have the qualifying this weekend as well. I'm putting Lando Norris in P1.
Going with Oscar Piastri in P1, as you may have guessed. But again, the McLaren's just really fast. Oscar did have a great race here last year. He obviously won, but little controversy surrounding it. But a win's still a win. And it was a good race from Oscar. So
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense for us to put McLaren 1 and 2. I honestly, I think that this is going to be one of the closest weekends of the year between them so far. We've seen them both have success at this track. There was all the drama here last year because they were such similarly paced once Lando got ahead because of the undercut. I think it's going to be a fight for pole, a fight into turn one, strategy, undercuts, overcuts to see. I cannot wait to see what happens with the two McLaren drivers this weekend.
yeah, even if you look back this past weekend at Spa, I feel like they were so evenly matched. And even right up there at the end, when Lando was pushing to try to fight Oscar for the win, I mean, the pace, they both had the pace. I mean, it's crazy how close that those cars are.
Oh man, we are just on for such a great championship fight for the rest of the year. Our one push and prediction, I have predicted that there will be a lap one incident at the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've seen it quite a bit in the past here at this track. It is a tight turn one. You're pretty much turning back on yourself, which someone always wants to send it up the inside. I think it's deceiving how wide the front stretch feels into how tight that turn is. So I could see it there. And then just the whole first sector, your elevation changes, sweeping through corners, cars trying to go side by side where they probably shouldn't. I think there will be some sort of incident on lap one here in Hungary.
Put you on the spot, Justin. This isn't a part of the official prediction, but if you had to guess, whose fault will the lap one incident be?
Oh man, I hate to say it, but Lance Stroll was the first name that came to mind.
I
I hate to
knew
say it.
that
I
you
hate to
would want
say it. I do hate to say it, but I could also see a situation where someone like Gabriel Bortoleto, someone who hasn't raced at this track in Formula One yet, I could see him having that, especially since he's on a streak of good qualifying. Maybe he puts it higher on the grid than he normally does, and gets a little excited about it. So not a part of the official prediction, but maybe a green car finds themselves in someone else's gearbox when we get to turn one this weekend.
That is a great prediction. My one person prediction is that Yuki Tsunoda will get his best finish in the Red Bull so far, which would be P8 or better. Yuki had a pretty decent weekend this past weekend up until the race, and the strategy kind of left him out of the points, but Red Bull got some new upgrades. I'm feeling good. Yuki seemed to be pretty happy about those upgrades, more at ease in the car, more relaxed. And when Yuki's relaxed, that is when he performs the best. When he is cussing out his race engineer, he is not often doing very well.
Yeah, it wasn't the result Yuki wanted, but it was a step in the right direction. Before you cry in the comments that he finished higher than P8 in a sprint race, that doesn't count because it's just a sprint race. So P8 or better, and we're counting that prediction for Brandon. The fans at Daniel_Marsh_ Carlos Sainz Q3, and points at Kobe_McCormick 23. Lewis Hamilton takes pole and wins the race at _Kai.9x. Lando and Oscar have another moment, and Ferrari get a double podium.
Any one of those happening would be crazy.
Yeah, we've got some great fan predictions, and if they come true, we would certainly have a great Hungarian Grand Prix on our hands. That is all we've got for our predictions for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Before we get out of here, Brandon, what are your parting podium thoughts?
I'm excited for the Hungarian Grand Prix. I'm excited for summer break and all the content we are going to put out for you guys. We're not going anywhere, even though Formula One shuts down for a little bit. The Podium Pushers do not. So it's going to be awesome.
Hey, we can look ahead to the summer break, but we've still got one more race, so we can't overlook the Hungarian Grand Prix. Some crazy stuff could be going down on track this weekend. As always, thank you for watching or listening to another episode of the Podium Pushers podcast. It means the world that you let us talk to you about Formula One. We will see you next week to recap the Hungarian Grand Prix, but until then, have a great day and God bless.
See ya.